Hello parents, hello students. Although we are so happy that we can hold a face-to-face options evening this evening so that you can meet with your subject teachers, we've decided, out of some precaution, to not gather you all in the hall to listen to this presentation. So instead, I ask you to carefully watch over the next few minutes the guidance and the advice you're going to be given about this next step in your life. Now, the move to Key Stage 4, or Year 10, can be summed up in one phrase. With greater freedom comes greater responsibility. You are being given the freedom to choose some of the subjects you'll study at GCSE, but with that comes great responsibility to make the right choice for you or for your child as a parent. The presentation will guide you on what choices you can make, and I'm going to give you just a little bit of advice about those choices. Now, before I talk about the curriculum, just some words about studying GCSEs. Now, in order to achieve the grades that you are most capable of achieving, you've got to be here, you've got to attend regularly. Simply being in the classroom is the first step that you need to gain knowledge. And think since March 2020, we've all learnt that it's easier and more effective to be in school, not just for your learning, but also for your well-being. Next, you need all the good skills of organisation that you've developed since Year 9. You cannot revise from notes that haven't been written, or books that have been lost, or homework that has not been done. If, like me, you love stationery, then GCSE is where you can start getting all the folders that you want. Use those tabs, use your calendars, and keep up to date with everything organised well. The next 2 years will mean a lot more work, an awful lot more effort, and certainly more of your time. And so it is at some point in the next 2 years going to be quite difficult. So my advice is, if you start working through your problems early, telling people if there is an issue, work steadily and ask for help when you need it, then those problems can be manageable. And however much you enjoy the next 2 years, I hope what you do is make the right choices for you right now. Just before Mr. Cowling talks you through the curriculum, I want to put this into context. We believe the curriculum we offer at GCSE provides the broadest range of academic subjects that each student needs to move to that next stage of their curriculum, whether it's A-levels or vocational courses, and gives the best range of career choices after that. It's balanced between the core and the foundation subjects to allow a base of knowledge and understanding that all students need. Now, we've deliberately decided not to require students to follow the EBAC because we do believe that students deserve those range of choices. Now, Mr. Cowling will now explain how the curriculum model works.
All of our students study a range of core subjects at Key Stage 4. As Ms. Tai has explained, the reason for that is to ensure that they continue to follow a balanced curriculum that leaves their options open when they get to the age of 16. On the screen at the moment, you can see those core subjects which students will follow throughout Year 10 and Year 11. They'll study English, Science, Maths, and then Core RS, Core PE. Those aren't the GCSE subjects. It is possible to do a GCSE in RS and a GCSE in PE, but we also ensure that all students do some RS and PE as part of their core curriculum. And of course, all students will continue with their PACE programme on a Tuesday afternoon. I'll speak quickly about some of those elements of the core curriculum. All students will study English language and English literature. They will do that with the AQA exam board, and as part of that they will read challenging texts and also engage in speaking and listening work. Ms. Solomons, who's our head of English, has reminded us that wider reading is an important part of undertaking those courses. Reading is important to us in the school. It's something we encourage with all our students, something that we encourage from when they join us in Year 7. But it's important that they maintain that habit of reading widely and beyond the curriculum as they move into their GCSE years. All students also study GCSE Science. The Science course is also an AQA course, and it's delivered over a 3-year period. What that means is that your daughter has already begun on her GCSE Science content, and she will continue with that until the end of Year 11. Students will continue with their science learning and eventually be entered either for double science, which leads to the award of 2 science GCSEs, or triple science, which leads to 3 separate GCSEs in biology, chemistry and physics. At the moment, all students are covering the topics that are common to both GCSE pathways. No decision has yet been made about whether they will be entered for double or triple science, and those decisions won't be made until Year 10. So they're not something that we need to deal with at this point of the process. At the start of Year 10, students will be grouped into new sets, and the science department will then make a decision about the appropriate GCSE course for each student. And they'll do that in order to ensure that each student has the best possible chance of achieving high grades at the end of Year 11. The final core subject is mathematics, and Miss Waugh from the Maths department is now going to speak about the Maths course.
All students study GCSE mathematics in years 10 and 11. Students at Watford Girls have 4 hours of maths lessons a week, and these lessons are taught in sets. We follow the Edexcel syllabus for GCSE maths, with some students sitting the foundation tier and some students sitting the higher tier. The final decision about tier of entry for each student will be made during Year 11. During Years 10 and 11, students will sit termly departmental assessments to measure their progress on recent topics. Alongside this, we carry out regular, more informal skills checks on devices. In addition to providing resources in lessons, the department subscribed to online platforms such as MathsWatch and Caboodle in order to provide support for students' work outside of lessons.
We've covered the areas of the core curriculum: English, Maths and Science, Core PE, Core RS and PACE. And that core programme gives every student a strong foundation for her Key Stage 4 years. The exciting thing about this point in school life, however, is that students do get to make some decisions about their curriculum. They get to shape what the next 2 years of their school life will be like. And I'm now going to talk about the areas of the curriculum where there is choice, where there are options. Over the next fortnight, the students are going to fill in their options form, and it's going to ask them to make 3 key decisions. The first decision is about languages. All of our students study at least 1 language to GCSE level. So the first decision that students will make on their options form is about a language that they want to continue in Year 10 and Year 11. And you can see on the screen the options that they will have at that point: French, German, Latin and Spanish. It's important that they choose a language that they have studied at Key Stage 3. It's not possible at this stage to pick up a language from scratch. It is possible to choose a second language. We'll talk about that at a later stage, but at this stage all students are choosing 1 language. The next decision that students will make on their options form is to choose a humanities subject. Again, all students study at least 1 humanities subject at Key Stage 4. And on the screen you can see what we class as humanities subjects in this school: classical civilization, geography, history and RS. Once again, if a student wants to study more than 1 humanities subject, that's possible at a later stage. All students at this stage choose 1. And then students move on to the third big decision. At this point, they need to choose 4 further subjects that they would like to study at GCSE level. They won't study all 4, they'll study 2, and they'll tell us the 4 subjects in an order of preference. We will work hard to try to ensure that students are able to study their first 2 preferences, but we do ask for 4 subjects at this stage, and I'll talk more about why in just a moment. On the screen, you can see the list of subjects that students can choose from when they make their decision about those 4 subjects. And you can see it's a long list. The languages and humanities subjects reappear here. So this is the point where students can add a second language or a second humanities subject if that is what they want to do. But we also have a wide range of additional subjects here, and students can choose freely from them. We ask students to identify 4 subjects from that long list that they would be happy to study. They're only going to study 2, so effectively we're asking for 2 reserved subjects, and I just want to explain why that is. Once we have the subject choices from this year group, Dr. Macpherson and Mr. Burns, who build our timetable, will work very hard to accommodate those choices and build a timetable that allows students to study the subjects in which they're interested. We want the students in this year group to be able to study the things that they have identified as their preferences. We want to accommodate the first and second choice of subjects. It's very rare that we are not able to do that. Dr. Macpherson and Mr. Burns do work very hard to build a timetable that will allow us to do that. Very occasionally, however, there are circumstances where we need to look at options 3 and 4, the reserve subjects. And there may be a number of reasons for that. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, there are unavoidable timetable clashes. It may be that the number of students choosing a subject is so small, it's not financially viable for us to run that subject. These things happen very rarely, however. The message I've given to students in school is that they shouldn't worry about this. They should choose 4 subjects from that long list. The aim of the school is that we will timetable them with their first and second preference, but we do just ask that they think at this stage about a third and a fourth preference that they would be happy to study. And then that means that if we do find ourselves needing to look at those reserve subjects, the thinking has already been done. If we do find that we need to look at the reserve subjects for a student, we would always do that in dialogue with the student and with you as parents. So we would talk to the student, we would explain why a situation had arisen, and we would look at how we could build a curriculum for that student that was one with which they were happy. We'd let you know as parents as well. So the next stage of this process is to complete the options form. On Thursday of this week, we will send a link to that form to you as parents. We'd encourage you to sit with your daughters and complete this together so that you share the thinking and that you have a clear understanding together of the information that you're submitting back to the school. There's no great rush to do this. The deadline is after the half-term break. It's Wednesday the 23rd of February. And we'd therefore encourage you to take your time to spend time talking this decision through and make sure that what you are submitting is the right set of options for your daughter. We don't allocate options on a first come, first served basis. Once we have got the forms returned after half term, we will email you as parents with a confirmation of what was submitted, just to make sure that there hasn't been any problem with the information being entered in this way. And then we will begin the process of building a timetable that reflects the choices of this year group. During the summer term, we will be able to confirm with the students in this year group what subjects they will be studying at Key Stage 4. I just want to end by outlining what we've done so far with the students in this year group to support them in making their choices. Last week I spoke to the year group to launch this process, and I also wrote to them and to you, sending out our options booklet. We've run an options fair in school which has allowed year 10 students to talk to the students in year 9 about each of the subjects and have very candid conversations about what it is like to study a subject at Key Stage 4. Form tutors and subject teachers have been talking to the year 9 students, helping them to think through decisions and providing them with information about what subjects look like in year 10 and year 11. Obviously, we would encourage you to think about the information that you received on Year 9 Parents' Evening and to look at reports as well, because these can be helpful in working out what a student's strengths are, what subjects might be good choices for the coming 2 years. We do want to support good choices being made now. I have said to the students, and it's important to say here, that we can't make changes once we reach September because we will have built a timetable and a curriculum that reflects the choices that have been made. And so we do encourage students to think carefully now, to take their time and to arrive at a very good decision. Thank you very much for watching this presentation. We wish you and your daughters well as you make decisions. Please do be in contact with us in the school if we can support in any way.